Come on. We will win. Because we will hit all game. We are motivated. We are dedicated. Come on now. Come on now. We will win. Because we are the best on the field. And we hit the field light, all day light, all night light, on the blue light, offense light, defense light, his squad light, house call light, and a sound light, and a sound light, and a sound light.
Welcome to the Short Sports Show. I'm your host, Daniel Short. Today is October 19th, 2016. Jam-packed show, lots of NFL news to talk about as well as college football. And we even talk about some MLB playoffs. The Dodgers got the win up 2-1, back-to-back shutouts for the Dodgers as they move on. And the Cleveland Indians, well, they were one game away. Now, still are, but now it's going to take another game. Lots of news to talk about. Obviously, college football. The Big 12 decided not to expand, and that's about it. That's all we're about to talk about. Not overall, but of the Big 12. We've talked about it all year long. The past year of will they expand? Who should they, bring in? And of course, we got the answer that I think a lot of us knew was the answer, and that was nobody is joining. The Big 12 said nope. Not including anybody. We're staying at 10 until the 2024-25 season. And that's it. Houston, Cincinnati, BYU, you're all out of luck. You're not coming into the conference. So we'll have to deal with that. The SEC bias is somewhat kind of real in the AP poll. We'll talk about that just a little bit. Not a big rant and ramble like I thought I was going to. I don't feel like ranting too much today. On the NFL side, are the Patriots a sure lock in for the Super Bowl? I do not see a team in the AFC stopping the Patriots from getting to that. I really don't. And also NBA, as the season gets closer, the top 5 questions entering the NBA season. Last night, I had no idea until, of course, I saw the tweet real late, and it was obviously too late, that the San Antonio Spurs had a free scrimmage. A free scrimmage. When I see free and I see it as a sporting event, it catches my eye 99.9% of the time. And I didn't see it until it was obviously too late. I missed that, so that sucks. But hopefully, we'll be able to get to some of the games, this season. Obviously, we will sign with the contract with the NBA. A lot of Spurs games, most likely. It's what it's looking like. And we're not too big time yet. We're not going to be able to cover the Cavs and the Warriors. We're not too big time, but we'll cover some Spurs games, maybe some even Mavericks games, and, some Houston Rockets games as well here in the Texas area. But before we get started, we have best of the week sounds. Check them out.
All receivers on. Newton falls for the end zone. Touchdown to Devin Funchess. Set back for Kaepernick and a first down. Kaepernick and going deep, wide open, and making the catch is Torrey Smith. And Smith racing for the end zone. Touchdown 49ers. Right on the heels of David Deal's comment of getting the likes of Smith and Patton into the action and a 53-yard touchdown strike.
So instead of a loss of 11, it's a 1st and 10. Huge turnaround in his first quarter. Little pitch play end around. This is Darius Hayward Bay breaking free. Still going 15-10, and he's in for the Steelers touchdown. 60 yards on the end around.
Goes deep. He's got Brandon Cooks. The race is on. And Cooks wins the race. Touchdown. Wide open. Julio Jones has it. And in the end zone, touchdown Falcons. Off the fake to Jones. Picked off. Malcolm Jenkins. One man to beat its cousins. And Jenkins will take it all the way for an Eagles score.
Get a first down, but they're looking for a touchdown. Kessler to the end zone for Pryor. Leaping grab back in the end zone. Touchdown Cleveland.
Yeah, that was all from the NFL this past weekend. Nothing too crazy in college football, this week, but, I enjoyed this week. I enjoyed this weekend of sports. It was a lot of fun. A lot of crazy things happened. A lot of good games overall from each sport, from the NFL and the college football. Now, this is the last week, ladies and gentlemen. This is the last week of sleeves. Sadly. Maybe we'll get them again. Who knows? Of course, Sleeps designs and produces custom compression gear. Everything from arm and leg sleeves to headbands, bandanas, t-shirts, and jerseys. Sleeps carries over 200 different designs and sizes for everyone from kids to adults. Once you purchase your Sleep product, tag your Instagram photos with hashtag SleepsMe, SLEEFSME, and get a chance to be featured on their Instagram page. Go to www.sleeps.com and then follow their Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Sleeps. And again, when you get there, use promo code SHORTSPORTS, 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 and you will get 20% off and free shipping on purchases of $50 or more. Right now, obviously, is the breast cancer awareness, so they have a big sale going on. A lot of products you can get for that for your team. It's awesome. I love it. I still have the hats, the sleeves I actually gave some away already. There's a couple people I know. They love them. I love them. And I know you will love them. So go ahead and get them. This is the last week to get the promo code SHORTSPORTS and get 20% off and free shipping on purchases of $50 or more at sleeps.com. Link is in the description down below. Of course, we got InnerGrind, so check them out as well. Today's show is sponsored by InnerGrind. Based out of Houston, Texas, let former Texas State linebacker Michael Rakpo help you reach your fitness and nutrition goals. With personal training classes that start at $40 a session, why not be a part of this rising program? Now, whether your goals are to lose weight, gain muscle mass, find the right off-season program, or even for you ladies out there to get that booty blast, you can do it all with InnerGrind. Not in the Houston area, not a problem. InnerGrind has a program that is personalized just for you. InnerGrind has everything you need to meet your personal and healthy goals. NFL linebackers like Titans Brian Orakpo, Chiefs Derek Johnson, Buccaneers running back Charles Sims, and San Diego Chargers cornerback Craig Mager, along with many other young athletes, have already begun. Find your personalized workout and nutrition plan at InnerGrind.com and call 832-475-2829. That's InnerGrind.com, 832-475-2829. Unleash your inner grind. All right, we'll start with college football news first, and we have LSU interim head coach Ed Orgeron expects star running back Leonard Fournette to practice this week and return to the lineup. He's missed the past 3 games this season, including the last 2 because of a nagging ankle injury that he suffered in the August scrimmage. Although he expects Fournette back, Orgeron is unsure whether former Heisman Trophy contender will be at full strength when LSU hosts Ole Miss on Saturday. Now Fournette ran 100+ yards in all 3 games which he's played this season. So even though it's been bothering him, when he's been on the field, he has continued to produce for the Tigers. But he's not played since September 24th at Auburn, giving him a month between games, should he play this Saturday. Now, we're all hoping for Fournette to come back, but if you look at it, and we had this topic of should Fournette sit out this season and just enter the NFL draft after the season concluded, right? Just not even play, just sit out, just train, work on himself, and be ready. A lot of people thought, well, that's selfish. He's not thinking of a team, which in a way it is. But when you look at where he's at now, and obviously you can't predict injuries, and when he's been on the field, it's not like he hasn't produced. Because he has. But now it brings up that topic again for future players on whether they should sit out. I mean, look at Christian McCaffrey. He wasn't really talking about whether he should sit out or not, but this season has been far from what he expected it to be. And he's also dealing with some injuries. He might be out this week. We'll talk about him in just a minute. And you have Leonard Fournette. Deshaun Watson has somewhat struggled. None of us ever thought he should sit out, but maybe new generation of players start looking at this and saying, well, if I have a really good freshman sophomore season, I might need to consider just sitting it out my junior year and entering the NFL draft. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I don't think anybody wants to see that happen. I don't think LSU fans would have been okay with Leonard Fournette not playing just because he sat out, and it's the same for Stanford fans and Clemson fans. But it is a topic that I think will be highly discussed come the end of the season, come draft talk, when we're saying, well, this guy would have been a top 5 pick, but now he's, 15, 20, 27th overall pick. Because there's people talking about that Christian McCaffrey might not even be a first-round pick anymore. And this guy was almost a lock. And he was a lock for a first round, but it looked like he was almost a lock for a top 5, top 10 pick. And now he's not. Leonard Fournette should still be, well, he was another one, a top 5. Now it's looking like he might be in the low 20s. We'll have to see. But it is an interesting topic that we might have to discuss come the NFL draft talk around that time. Oklahoma football coach Bob Stoops said standout running back Samaje Perine will miss at least the next 2 games with a pulled muscle. He's rushed for 475 yards and 6 touchdowns this season, but it was injured early in Saturday's 38-17 victory over Kansas State. Now, Stoops said after the win that Perine could have finished the game, but he said he didn't want to. No need for it. It was a game. They had it in the bag. No need to get him out there and risk it. But Stoops did say that Perine will be out at least 2 weeks, maybe 3. But Joe Mixon has stepped in, has done just a good enough job as well. Actually 476 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns this season. And he will step in and make more, plays for the Sooners. Wayne Gallman, Clemson starting running back, was out of practice this week for concussion protocol. They're hoping he can play this week as well. Hoping to get him cleared. And, well, not this week. They're actually off this week, but next week, when they return to action against number 13 Florida State. So that should be a pretty interesting game. There's one more. Yeah, Stanford running back Christian McCaffrey. He remains questionable with undisclosed injury heading into Saturday's game against Colorado. McCaffrey, however, will not rejoin a full practice until later this week at the earliest. Head coach David Shaw would only say that McCaffrey was banged up. And that's why he left the second half of Stanford's loss to Washington State 2 weeks ago. And he was ruled out just a few hours before game time against Notre Dame this past week. So we'll have to see. But they did have Bryce Love, who's made his first career start in that game against the Fighting Irish. And he rushed for 129 yards and the winning touchdown on 6.3 yards per carry. So somewhat being able to still have a rushing offense, but man, Stanford has just looked kind of bad this past 3 weeks. Even the win against Notre Dame wasn't the prettiest. The Big 12, as we discussed, they're not expanding. Not expanding. As much as we thought they should, they decided they're not going to. I don't agree with it. But then again, I don't understand the Big 12 anymore. This honestly does look like the worst Power 5 conference, out of maybe one of the worst conferences overall. Even including the group of 5. I mean, they just look like they don't know what they're doing. 1 week they're there and 1 week they're in a different spot. And then they're talking about unity and strength and being together. I mean, what happened just a couple months ago where there was uncertainty and you're worried about the future of the conference, and now it's, oh, no, we're better together. I don't know. The Big 12, Bob Bowsley is one of the worst conference commissioners, and David Boren, I don't understand why he's the main guy. It seems like he's talking for everybody. I haven't heard any other athletic director speak up as much as he has about the Big 12 expansion. It's ridiculous. They didn't even vote on it. They just basically came to a unanimous vote, said, should we expand? Nope. Okay. Didn't even vote for a specific school to bring in. They just said, should we expand? No? Okay. That's it. Let's get our coffee and let's leave. It's ridiculous. It really is. Michigan moved up to number 3 in the Associated Press college football poll, right behind number 2 Ohio State, to give the Big Ten rivals their best combined ranking since the 2006 season, when they played the only 1-2 game in the series. Now West Virginia has moved up 8 spots. They're one of the biggest movers, as they're now number 12, and it's their best ranking since the start of the 2008 season, when they were at number 8. Tennessee somehow remains in the top 20. They dropped 9 spots this time to number 18 after getting dominated by Alabama for its second straight loss. Another team that is somehow ranked is Ole Miss. They fell 11 spots to number 23, but they are the first team with a 3-3 record to be ranked since October 18th of 2009, when Oklahoma was 25 after splitting the first 6 games. They just love keeping as many SEC teams in, because as soon as that poll has come out the past 2 weeks, it's been, look how many SEC teams are ranked. It gets ridiculous. And I know we shouldn't be stressing about rankings, because honestly, these rankings, as much as they somewhat matter now, they are not going to matter in just a couple of weeks when the college football playoff poll is the one that all counts. And the AP poll and the coaches poll, all the other polls don't even matter. So really, it's like polls just don't matter at all, except for fans and for TV ratings. And that's about it. I mean, fans probably shouldn't even care about it either. I mean, I do for some stupid reason. I get frustrated with that. I don't know why. That's really it for college football news. There wasn't a whole lot to talk about, in terms of news coverage. But we are doing our predictions, and we're switching up predictions. At first we just did the top 25, right? Whatever the top 25 games were on, we picked each game. This week, and starting from now on, we're going to switch how we do predictions, because it's easier to keep up with this, and it's just smarter. It's just smarter to do it this way. We'll also do it for the NFL. We're picking the top 5 games or top 5, the most intriguing, not top 5 rankings, but the top 5 intriguing games, including Louisiana Lafayette versus Texas State. We'll always have a Texas State game in there. Gotta support, since I am in San Marcos, gotta have Texas State talk on here. Just that tad little tiny bit. So we'll start doing that as well for the NFL, just top 5 games. So we have NC State taking on Louisville at 11 a.m. on ABC. Louisville is a 20-point favorite. It's a little shocking, given that NC State's had some really close games against Clemson, as well as, Notre Dame. Really close games. And I expect this to be just like that. I expect it to be a very close game. NC State is not a weak team. This is not a team that should be beaten by Louisville by 20 points. Now, I know Louisville, Lamar Jackson, this offense is incredible and they can score a ton of points, but NC State is not should not be a 20-point underdog, and just having that for that team, they're going to see that and should be motivated by that, especially given their past performance the past couple of weeks. So while I will pick Louisville to win this game, I'm not picking Louisville to win by 20 points. That's too much. That's way too much. I'm taking Louisville to win maybe by 14 at the very most. And I know 14, 20 is not a whole lot, but that's at the very most. That's if everything goes Louisville's way. I would not be surprised if this game they win by 6, 7, 8 points, somewhere around there. TCU and West Virginia. Now the funny part is when TCU was ranked and we were good the past 2 years, they didn't put us on ABC or primetime games, in multiple weeks. Or multiple games through the season. When TCU's struggling, guess what? ABC against Arkansas. I forgot the Fox game. I think Fox was on Fox. The Oklahoma game was on Fox. And then we have West Virginia on ABC. And guess what? When we play Tech, which I believe is next week as well, that's on ABC as well. So cool. When we're struggling and most likely going to lose these games, we are on prime time. We are on ABC, national. It's just terrible. So anyways, TCU takes on West Virginia at 2:30 p.m. Central Time on ABC. West Virginia is a 5-point favorite. And, as much as I love my Horned Frogs, as much as I want to root for them, and we're coming off a bye week, everybody's healthy. Kavontae Turpin should play. He's a game time decision this week. He should be back. We actually might have our top corner back. One of our top corners who earlier in the offseason said that he was out for the season. Well, apparently he's healthy now and could be able to play. So that would be huge to get him back. And Julius Lewis. Every time we've gone to Morgantown, we've won by a field goal. Except for the overtime game with Trevon Boykin hitting, Josh Boyce on that touchdown, which was incredible. It's been by a field goal. Either a missed field goal or we got the field goal to win it. I hope it doesn't come down to that because our kicking team is one of the worst. And our defense is just, it's not good. West Virginia is honestly very, very good this season. Defensively, they do a lot of things with a 3-3-5 defense that makes it so difficult for spread offenses to get going. And our rushing offense, our offensive line is not the best at getting the run going. So, with all that being said, West Virginia's just got more things going on than TCU does, and this being in West Virginia, I'm taking the Mountaineers to get the W. It breaks my heart. Hopefully it's not a blowout like the Oklahoma game nearly was. But hopefully TCU can pull it off. That would be awesome. But I'm going to be realistic. I'm not biased. Not biased here because this is going to be a very tough game. And I might just watch bits and pieces of it because I don't know if I want to give myself a heart attack watching this game. It might come down to the wire. Number 6, Texas A&M has their biggest game on the road in Tuscaloosa, taking on number 1 Alabama, 2:30 p.m. Central Time on CBS. Alabama somehow a 16.5 point favorite. And the reason I say somehow, while Alabama's dominated just about everybody they've played this season, and rightfully so. I mean, they just got, their mini NFL basically. A&M, their defense will be able to hold down. This will be the best defense Alabama's faced all season. They haven't played a defense like Texas A&M. They haven't seen Deshaun Hall. They haven't seen Amari Watts. They have not seen Myles Garrett. They have not seen anywhere close to a player like Myles Garrett this season. Now, granted, they might have in practice when they play against each other, but in a real game, they have not. And A&M, same thing for them. They haven't really played the big boys like Alabama yet. Sure, Arkansas with their offensive line, but that's really about it. Defensively, not so much. This is going to be a close game. I'm taking Alabama here, just because of the success they've had and being able to handle these much bigger games. They're not going to view this A&M game like A&M's going to view this Alabama game, if that makes sense. And Trevor Knight being on the road, I don't know if I have that much confidence in him to go into Tuscaloosa and get a W. As much as I have Jalen Hurts not making that many mistakes against this defense and being able to somehow get the win. So I'm taking Alabama here, close, a 20-13 type of ball game, 20-10, somewhere around there. I do not see Alabama winning in a blowout fashion like they have all season, especially by 16.5 points. I don't see it, but I am taking Alabama. Then we have number 2, Ohio State taking on Penn State at 7 p.m. Central Time on ABC. Ohio State, 19-point favorite in this game. Sadly for Penn State, as much as they're going to want to have the crowd out, they might even do a whiteout. I haven't seen if they have, but usually they do against Ohio State when they host them. I see Ohio State just blowing them out. Ohio State, honestly, they look to me like they're the best complete team. Them and Alabama. Ohio State really, I know they have start off, they've been struggling in the first half, but then they get it together and everything's in motion that second half. I'm taking Ohio State here. I do believe it will be a blowout. I would not be surprised. It's 24-point type of lead early in the first half. I don't think Penn State's really going to stay with them too much. But then I could be completely wrong. This game comes down to a field goal. But I'm taking Ohio State, and I think they do win big. And finally, we have Texas State Bobcats, which, I normally would say most of y'all don't know, but I think I have a good enough audience now in the Austin, Central Texas area that a lot of people do know who Texas State is. So, to my listeners who are Texas State fans, welcome. You are getting some love. They play Louisiana Lafayette. 6 p.m. Central Time. It is homecoming for the Bobcats. This game is on ESPN3 or the Watch ESPN app. Lafayette is a 6.5 point favorite. Couple things. First, shout out to one of my fellow coaches at San Marcos High School, Colton Bragg. He's been wanting to shout out for a while. Texas State grad. There you go. He believes Texas State will win this game and this will be a start of a 6-game winning streak. Me, on the other hand, I would love to see that. I don't think so. Texas State, back-to-back weeks, they've had a 14-0 lead in the first quarter, and then that's about it. That's all they score. They lost to Georgia State last week in a pretty bad game. I want to keep hope alive for the Texas State Bobcats, but I think Louisiana Lafayette is going to just be a much more complete team than the Bobcats are right now. While it is homecoming and should be a pretty good crowd, Lafayette is just a much more complete team than the Bobcats are right now. And another thing, so I just saw, Texas State has a video series that they do each week on YouTube. It's called The Path, right? It's a 30-minute show. They interview the opposing, analysts for the team, their team, color guys. And, they show what happened during practice. They show a recap from last week, all that good stuff, right? Just like a lot of other programs do. This week, they had a special topic on their uniforms. Now, they have an all-black uniform, they have an all-white uniform, they have an all-maroon. Now, for people that don't know Texas State, they're maroon and gold. They have now ditched the gold. They no longer have the gold helmet nor the gold pants. That might not be a problem for a lot of people, whether you're a Texas State fan or not. Me, it is a problem. They have completely ditched them. They only have 3 uniforms now. The all white, the all black, and the all maroon. Now, they can do a combination of all 3. I think they said they have like 11 or 12 different uniform combinations or something like that. Awesome. Sad part is, the bad thing is, you do not have a gold. One of our main colors. It's always been our color. I'm disappointed. I'm upset. It's a small thing, but that is upsetting. And that way, Louisiana Lafayette, you win just because of that. You got my pick just because of that. Because Texas State has ditched the gold. I mean, we're basically becoming Texas A&M Junior. That's what Texas State's becoming. And it's embarrassing. Anyways, before we take a quick break here on the Short Sports Show, again, follow me on Twitter at Short Sports Show. And become a fan on Facebook, The Short Sports Show. Sleeves. Again, this is the last week, ladies and gentlemen. After this week, after Friday night, it's all but over. For now. Sleeves.com. 20% off if you use promo code SHORTSPORTS and you get free shipping. Custom compression gear. Everything and anything you want, they've got it. Headbands, bandanas, arms and leg sleeves, t-shirts, jerseys, mouse guards, everything and anything. They got it. You can get it. Anything you see on there that you like, throw it in the cart, throw it in the bag. $50 or more. Use promo code SHORTSPORTS. You get 20% off and free shipping. This is the last week to do it, so be sure to do it now. Again, that is Sleeves, SLEEFS.com. And if you just couldn't type it in, guess what? Link's in the description down below. Click on it and go have fun, go shopping, do all that good stuff. It could be, if you want to get it for a Christmas gift. It'd be early, but hey, you can save it and you can buy them a ton of stuff. These things are not expensive. It's $3 sleeves, $2 sleeves. You really can get an entire season. I mean, you can buy as much sleeves as are a game. So your kid, or your friend, or whoever can have a different sleeve every single game. You can feel like a professional athlete. When they get new gloves for like every practice, he gets new sleeves every single game. Not many people can say that. So again, Short Sports is your promo code. 20% off, free shipping at sleeves.com. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt the show, but I want to say first off, thank you for all of your support. Without you, I'd just be some guy talking to a microphone. And I got some amazing news. I recently joined Patreon. And in case you're wondering, Patreon is an amazing way for you to earn some sweet rewards by supporting the Short Sports Show. I promise you, you will love the perks, and your support will help build this show. Go to www.patreon.com/theshortsportshow and view the amazing rewards you would get directly from me to you by donating to the show. The link is in the description, so when you have some time, check it out. And again, thank you for listening and supporting the Short Sports Show. Now back to me rambling on about something. All right, we'll move over to the NFL side. We have the San Francisco 49ers head coach Chip Kelly confirmed what likely didn't come as a surprise, and that is Colin Kaepernick. He will remain the starting quarterback for the game Sunday against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, after a 45-16 loss. All right, quick pause, real quick. Raise your hand. You don't have to do it if you're driving. Don't do that. But in your head, raise your hand if you did not even know the score of the game because of how much talk about Colin Kaepernick, or you were just paid attention to his stats and did not know that the San Francisco 49ers got beat 45-16 to the Buffalo Bills this past weekend. I'm raising my hand. I had no idea that they got beat that bad. You could have told me that they had won or that they lost, by a touchdown, 2 touchdowns. I had no idea. I didn't even pay attention to the score. I was so caught up to see the Kaepernick highlights, him running at the last minute to keep the play alive. The 53-yard touchdown that he threw, and a terrible safety. Whoever that was for the Bills was a terrible safety. But anyways, I was so caught up in that I didn't even know the 49ers got blown out. Now, I'm not surprised. I mean, the 49ers are terrible, but Kaepernick did okay. I thought he did okay. I don't think he did as bad as Blaine Gabbert would have done. And to go on the road in Buffalo against Buffalo, who's just got everything going for them right now, this was not a bad game for Colin Kaepernick. It should have built a ton of confidence in his ability. I don't think he's been playing or he's had that level of confidence, in a long time. And I think that's why he struggled, especially with his weight. He's dropped a ton of weight. He finished 13 of 29, 187 yards and a touchdown, and rushed for 66 yards on 8 carries with no turnovers. That's a key factor right there. No turnovers, no fumbles, no interceptions. He really did an okay job. I don't think, and I think it's only going to get better. I think it's only going to get better. I mean, given what the 49ers have, which is not a lot, on both sides of the ball and what he's going to have to do and the situations he's going to be placed in, Kaepernick did an okay job. People that are going to say that he's trash are just ignorant or whatever, but Kaepernick did a good job, I think. And I'm glad that he's out there now. I somewhat feel bad for Blaine Gabbert, but then again, Blaine Gabbert has had so many chances in his NFL career to get things going, and he just hasn't. I don't think he even has a above 500 record, to his name. So, Colin Kaepernick, I'm glad that Chip Kelly and the 49ers are sticking with him and not just giving up with him, saying, oh, well, he started one game, we got blown out, it's over. Now, this is not to say just because he did okay with the stats and how he looked the majority of the time on the field that it's okay that they lost 45-16. Definitely need to be some adjustments. They have a good timing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and to play them. Now the Buccaneers are coming off a bye week, so, obviously the Buccaneers have more time to get ready for this game, but Colin Kaepernick, this is your job to lose. And what you do with this is going to determine how much you get paid in free agency. Because the contract that he renegotiated with the 49ers is basically saying, look, you're here for this year. We cut the money. There's nothing guaranteed now. You're getting what you get. And, what you get this year is what's guaranteed to you. After that, nothing else is. And most likely we're cutting you and you're moving on. This is your audition. What are you going to do with it? So we'll have to see. Kaepernick did say, quote, I went out and I played as hard as I could, gave this team everything I had, and I'll continue to do that every week they let me. So, and this will also be his first start on Sunday against Tampa Bay. He'll be making his first start at Levi Stadium since October 22nd of 2015. Now he did play in a game, I believe, last year there, but he did not start it. So we'll see, but I'm glad Kaepernick did good. I'm glad how the game, well, not how the game went, but how he played. It was good to see him back out there and getting things done. Now, we had a pretty controversial couple of games in the NFL. And so this question has been raised, and it's a really good one. Now, should pass interference calls be reviewable? First, just answer the question. I believe so. But here's a couple things. So, New Orleans Saints coach Sean Payton says he hopes pass interference calls will become eligible for replay review, quote, sooner than later. A cause that the rival Atlanta Falcons would probably agree with after Sunday's loss to the Seattle Seahawks. Payton went on to say, quote, that specific call is so critical to get it right. A number of clubs in recent years have tried to discuss it, but to no avail. I think the competition committee needs to spend a lot more time thinking about it, end quote. Now, the idea of reviewing pass interference calls is, shaky to say. The competition committee has made it clear that it does not want any judgment calls to be replayed. They don't want any of that. Now, however, up in the border north of us, the Canadian Football League has been reviewing pass interference calls for the past 3 years now, and all the fans love it. Everyone loves it. They think it's great, and honestly, it's been working for them. And they had the best example of it is when, in the fourth quarter of the 2015 Grey Cup, which is their Super Bowl for people that don't know, there was a bad pass interference call. It was reviewed. It was then changed. And while it might not have helped the outcome any, which I think it would, it happened in the fourth quarter. But it's been working elsewhere and not just a indoor little football league. It's the Canadian Football League. Now, the Saints were able to beat the Carolina Panthers 41-38 on Sunday despite a controversial pass interference call against safety Kenny Vaccaro in the end zone on a fourth down in the third quarter. Now, Payton said after the game that he wished he could have thrown a challenge flag, and he stood by that comment on Monday. Now, the Falcons, meanwhile, they weren't so lucky. We saw what happened. Their final offensive drive or play in the 26-24 loss to the Seattle Seahawks was a controversial no call when cornerback Richard Sherman appeared to grab the arm of receiver Julio Jones, and Falcons head coach Dan Quinn nearly just exploded. And he said he expected the competition committee to discuss making pass interference calls eligible for replay in the off seasons. Now, Jones said on Sunday that he thought it should have been pass interference, though he said he saw no reason to plead with the officials in case a situation arises again later in the season. Quote, "That's not my job. If they make that call, they make the call. If they don't, they don't. That's not me to coach them up on officiating the game. The only thing I can do is go out there and do my job. It was a missed call. It's over with. It's done. We're on to the next right now." So Julio Jones is just a great example of a great player, of who you're supposed to be as a professional athlete. But at the same time, Dan Quinn had a real reason. Now, I love Seattle. I see up there. I love Seattle. I like the Seahawks. And this should have been a flag. It's clear. It's clear that this should have been a flag. And while that doesn't necessarily mean the Falcons would have won this game, it does give them an extra chance to get a game-winning field goal, most likely. I do believe pass interference calls should be reviewable. Now, there's been some stats on how much it's gone up, but at the same time, passing has been much more over the past few seasons than it has been in recent years. So that, obviously, with more passing, there's more chance of defensive pass interference, and then more chance of flags being thrown. Right now, we're on pace to have record-setting pass interference calls and amount of yards given up. Whether you want to take that with a grain of salt or not, that's up to you. I just think they should be reviewable. I don't think there should be any change in how the referees call the pass interference. I think referees do majority of the time, they do a really good job of getting that call right. They really do. And it's tough as a DB and, to not have a little bit of contact with them. And I think we should allow a little bit of contact with receivers. I mean, it shouldn't just be a free offensive game. So I think don't change anything in the calling. Don't change how we do with the whole catch rule and what determines a catch. All we should do is say, all right, refs, continue doing what you're doing and just know that it might be reviewed and then go from there. That's it. But that at the same time, we should still allow a little bit of contact. Don't get all upset if it's a slap to the hand right before the ball is thrown and then that's a flag. That's where it gets ridiculous. That's where we have to draw the line. But if it's a Richard Sherman holding down I guess that would have been the right arm of Julio Jones as he went up with the left. So that should have been a flag. But we'll see. I believe they should be reviewable. Let me know in the comment section down below. If you have any questions on it or believe it wouldn't work, go watch a few CFL games. One, they're not that bad. I love the Calgary Stampeders. That's my team. I love them. Go watch a few games. Go look at some of the articles on the Canadian Football League. They should have quick little Vine videos of how they work and what's happened with them, some of the examples, and see and just get your own opinion off of that. I believe they should be reviewable. Let me know in the comment section. Tweet me at Short Sports Show. I think it's a smart idea. I think the NFL needs to do it, and honestly, that might, since they're all about ratings and they're all about all that stuff, this might be interesting to see. to talk about because more fans might want to tune in. Oh, I want to see how this gets reviewed because at some point in the game, there should be a call of pass interference. I mean, you got a high likelihood that that's going to happen. Wouldn't be bad. Now, apparently CBS Sports reported Sunday that Bill O'Brien and Brock Osweiler of the Houston Texans had a, quote, heated exchange last week after a quarterback meeting while reviewing film of the Week 5 loss to the Minnesota Vikings, and which Osweiler had objections to the play calling, which, as we all know, Bill O'Brien is now the offensive play caller. He took over the duties from offensive coordinator George Godsey after the Texans were shut out by the New England Patriots in Week 2. So O'Brien, of course, called the report the biggest non-story of the year and said it's a side effect of coaching in an intense environment, which, yeah, I could see it. Yeah, definitely. But O'Brien said it takes time for a coach and his quarterback to develop a style of working together, and he enjoys working with Osweiler. Here's what I get the problem with. Or actually, let's go on to his quote. I think you really have to get to know the quarterback to understand what he likes, what he's comfortable with, and also for that quarterback to understand your style, how you do things, and sometimes that takes a while, end quote. Now, sure, I agree with all of that, but this is your $72 million quarterback, and of which $37 million is guaranteed. He's making $21 million alone. I don't know if that many people remember. Brock Osweiler, a guy who is not that good, is making $21 million guaranteed this season alone. He'll make another $16 million guaranteed next year. And so for the people that think, oh, you're just seeing a little bit of him and he's not playing that good. No, I got some stats to back it up. Check this out. After 6 games this season, Osweiler is at 59% completion percentage. 59%. The average quarterback is like 66%, 65, maybe 63. 59%. He's got 1,400 yards this season. He has an 8-to-8 touchdown to interception ratio right now. His QBR, for people that are in love with the QBR stats and the new rating system that they have, he's at a 48.9. If you want to know what's good, 90s are good. 90s are good. 48.9. To put that in some context for you, in case you don't really know where everybody else is at, there are 28 other starting quarterbacks that have a higher QBR rating, a QBR, this season than Osweiler. 28. Ladies and gentlemen, there are 32 NFL teams. Therefore, 32 quarterbacks. 28 other quarterbacks have a better QBR than Brock Osweiler. And maybe 2-3 of those are making more than $21 million this year? There is something wrong. The Texans are fortunate to have a defense that keeps them in these games and can actually possibly win games for them. And I think we saw that Sunday night. I think that was a great example. Now, Lamar Miller did an amazing job running the ball for the Texans. Brock Osweiler didn't have 100 passing yards going into the fourth quarter. After 3 quarters, did not have 100 passing yards. He ended up with 200 and something and got the W for the team. But had that been against a pretty good team, I would have been like, hey, okay, struggled, but we got it together. This was against the Indianapolis Colts, which, no disrespect, this isn't the same Colts, and their defense is definitely not one of the NFL's best. One of the worst as well. So, I'm not a hater on the Texans. I like Bill O'Brien. I don't have anything against Brock Osweiler. I liked him when he was in Denver. I thought he was okay. I clearly made it clear that he was not worth $72 million. And he's definitely showing that he's not anywhere close to that. Brandon Whedon did a much better job with the Texans last season. All 4 of those other quarterbacks last season did a better job than Brock Osweiler did. And there should be no reason you don't have 100 passing yards with the targets that the Texans like to talk about with Hopkins and Miller and Will Fuller. 100 passing yards, that's not good. Not good at all. We'll see. we'll see. It's bad. It's bad for the Texans. They'll get it going. They'll get it going at some point. Osweiler will get it going. I don't think he's going to be just an absolute garbage quarterback. But I would not be surprised if we look back at this 3-4 years from now and say, wow, that was one of the worst free agent signings in NFL history at the quarterback position. And there's been some bad ones. But Brock Osweiler, he might be the new, oh God, who was that guy's name? I can't even think of his name. That's how bad it was. He was with the Green Bay Packers, had that big game, had 6 touchdowns against the Lions, and then entered free agency. Damn, what was his name? The backup quarterback to Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers sat out. That quarterback came in, threw 6 touchdowns against the Lions. Someone will let me know in the comment section. And then went into free agency, signed with the Seattle Seahawks or with the Raiders first. One of them got a huge amount of money. I think it was the Seahawks. And then that's when Russell Wilson won the job. They cut that quarterback. Then he signed a good amount of money with the Raiders, lost the job to Carson Palmer and Matt Schaub, and then I think he went back to the Packers, and I don't know if he's still there or not. He wore number 10. Damn, what was his name? I know his whole backstory and his life story, but I can't think of his damn name. Anyways, Brock Osweiler might be that guy who just gets the money, goes from team to team, club to club, and just does not do anything. We'll see. Now, news this morning, this Wednesday morning came in that said that Dak Prescott will be the starting quarterback come week 8 after the bye week against the Philadelphia Eagles, or week 9, whatever it is. So I had this topic already read, and I'm still going to talk about it just in case this comes up, and I'm going to give my reason on why Dak Prescott should start over Tony Romo. And this is my last time talking about Dak versus Romo. You know, we've talked about it a lot, but it's in-depth right here. This is in-depth storyness. Here we go. Now, as you know, Dak Prescott, he should start over Tony Romo. And you should know by now. If you don't, you're ignorant. Because this situation is a replay and a reminder to every starting quarterback from high school to the NFL. This is a replay of the Patriots quarterback situation with Drew Bledsoe and Tom Brady. I'm not comparing Tom Brady to Dak Prescott, not at all. Even though the stats, you could, but I'm not going to. Drew Bledsoe got knocked out by the Jets, and then he never saw the field again, at least for the Patriots. And that's because of a guy named Tom Brady stepped up. This is a reminder that no job is safe. Tony Romo, this is your reminder. Now, Jerry Jones, the Cowboys front office, Jason Garrett, cannot screw this up. They cannot screw this up and start Tony Romo. Now, the argument of, well, look at what Romo has done. Look at the past. He's a successful quarterback for the Cowboys. He's a better passer. We got to start him. Well, you could have said the same for Drew Bledsoe over Tom Brady when Bledsoe got healthy. I mean, if you want to look at the stats of a rookie Brady and a rookie, and I know I said we weren't going to compare them, but the fact that the interception record, we get the same situation of, well, should we start Brady or should we start Bledsoe? Should we start Dak? Should we start Romo? We all need to understand that Romo's never been a great quarterback. He's been a good quarterback. But people throw the word great around on so many players, just like it's freebies, basically. When they do something really good multiple times, we think they end up being great. Why? You could just be good. You could just be a good quarterback. Tony Romo has never carried the team to the Super Bowl, nor has he's never been there. He's never won. Never been there. And he's only won 2 playoff games in his 10 years of starting since taking the job. 2 playoff games. That's how much he's won. So in other words, Romo hasn't earned the status of a Tom Brady, of the fact that his job is untouchable. Now we saw that the Patriots did a good job, 3-1. A lot better than a lot of us thought that they were going to do, especially given the schedule they had early in the season. They go 3-1. Jimmy Garoppolo's playing pretty well. Obviously, he gets hurt than Brissett, but Garoppolo got healthy, and we all knew that it was Brady's job. He was coming, when Brady was eligible, he was coming back. He was the starting quarterback, whether they were 4-0 or they were 0-4. So Romo doesn't deserve to be treated as Tom Brady of, well, once Romo's healthy, he's the starting quarterback. Now, that would have been if the Cowboys had struggled and have been at 500 right now or so, or maybe even below 500. So we shouldn't just say Romo should be the starting quarterback just because of experience and how he's been. Just been a good quarterback. Now Prescott, he's bigger, stronger, healthier, faster, and younger. And he walked into Lambeau Field and walked out with a 30-16 victory over the Green Bay Packers. Not a lot of people can say that. And you know who can't say that? That's Tony Romo. He hasn't beaten Green Bay, he hasn't beaten the Packers in Green Bay. Dak Prescott did in his rookie year and did it in a dominating fashion. Now, of course, it was a little shaky. The fumbles maybe held the ball a little bit too long, but in the end, you got the win. Everybody wants to stress a win is a win. You win by 1 point, you win by 100. A win is a win. Well, there you go. He won 30-16. And it was a really good game, by the way. When it was over, Cowboys head coach Jason Garrett raved about Prescott's composure and poise, and the rookie repeated on cue that he still sees himself as a gracious temp. This is Tony's team. I'm just here to help my team win each and every game that I can, end quote. Now, it doesn't matter what Dak says. He's saying the right things. He's saying what he's supposed to say. He cannot go in there and say, well, this is my team. I mean, I guess he kind of could, but it would give him a bad look. Now the Cowboys, there's only really one guy that makes the decisions, and rightfully so. That's Jerry Jones. He makes the decisions. And Jerry Jones should just end up saying, Romo, you're not happening. You're not coming here. He should just tell Romo to stay healthy, stay ready. In the event Prescott does struggle, highly unlikely, but if he does, Romo will be ready. Or in the fact, and God forbid, Dak Prescott gets hurt. It's always a possibility, though. It's always a possibility. So he should tell Romo that the Cowboys might be good enough to advance to a Super Bowl. I'm making the bold prediction. I'm bringing the fire right now. Hit the fire sound effect, or some type of sound effect. I'm going to hit one right now. Boom! There it is. For the first time in 2 decades, he could not simply make the change when Prescott is playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. Right now. Can't do it. Roger Staubach, I met him once. It was kind of cool. Strongly hinted the other day that he would stick with the rookie too, telling ESPN that Prescott has the team behind him and that the individual's interests can't rise above the group's. Quote, I'm a Romo fan too, so I don't want to say anything against Tony. But the way Dak's going, it's all about the team and what's the best feel for the team at this particular point, end quote. The decision should have already been made. By now, right after the Green Bay win, it should have been made. And we talked about it last week that this was going to come down. It was going to come down to that game. How Dak played, how the Cowboys, if they won, this was going to be the de facto. This was going to decide who was going to start against the Philadelphia Eagles after the bye week. If Jones believes deep down that an accomplished veteran starter shouldn't lose a job to injury, he should tell that to Drew Bledsoe back in 2001. Right? Also, to finish this off, a source told Omni Sports that Prescott had a couple big endorsements deals lined up, but Prescott opted to spend time with his grandmother in Louisiana while he had the time off for the bye week. How can you say no to that guy? He turned down money for family. He's not making a whole lot this year, guys. He's not even making $1 million this season. Not even making $1 million. He's making maybe what, 600,000, 500,000 this season? I think it's in the 600, 700,000. Which is still really good money. Not to complain at all. Not to complain at all. But he's not making the big time money like everybody else is. So that's my take on all of this. Let me know your take. If you truly believe Romo should start, I'd love to hear it in the comment section. I would love to hear it. I would love to hear your reasons why. This is Dak's team. It has been since Romo got hurt. I'm with Dak. I do not see how you cannot start Dak Prescott and keep him going. It's ridiculous if they start Tony Romo. I'm not even a Cowboys fan, but I would be enraged if Tony Romo was announced. Now they did announce that Dak Prescott should be the starter, or excuse me, will be the starter against the Philadelphia Eagles. So we shall see. A couple other news topics we'll talk about. Actually, we got a good amount. A lot of NFL news to talk about today. Eli Manning is apparently getting sick of Odell Beckham's antics. Now, the New York Giants quarterback was on WFAN 660 on Monday and said, quote, "With the win, you can ignore it a little bit easier. You can get real sick of it if he does go out there and is not making plays." End quote. Now, Beckham, he finished with 8 catches, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns in New York's 27-23 victory over the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday, including a go-ahead 66-yard touchdown with 1 minute and 24 left in the game, which basically sealed the deal. However, he received a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for taking off his helmet after the score, giving Baltimore better field position on its final drive. Now, while the penalty gave the Ravens better field position and a chance to take the lead, the Giants defense held on, secured the win, and improved to 3-on-3 on the season. But Beckham has also continued a kind of funny, but a lot of people find it weird, relationship with the kicking net. Show the picture here. Ben McAdoo, the head coach for the Giants, on Odell Beckham's removing the helmet and having fun with the kicking net, quote, "Can't have it. He knows it. And we need to keep focus on the ball game," end quote. Now, Beckham, he ranks 5th in the NFL with 581 receiving yards and is again among the best pass catchers, in the league. But his antics continue to remain an issue. I don't think it is somewhat of a problem. And I can see where Eli's coming from, where when you're losing or when the game's tight and he's out there doing something that's can potentially hurt the team, it gets frustrating. And he had some radio host that was saying that Eli needs to stick up for Odell Beckham. I mean, not a lot of people were saying that for telling Donovan McNabb to step up for Terrell Owens. Tony Romo didn't step up for T.O. I mean, you just kind of, every now and then, we're going to get a player like Odell, like T.O., like Randy Moss, that just have a bigger ego. And it's not a bad ego that they have. Well, I don't know. T.O.'s was probably really bad. But Odell Beckham's is not a bad ego. It's just he needs to control his emotions in the right way. And that just comes with working it out a little bit. So I think media is making a little bit more than what it is. But at the same time, Odell is allowing it to happen with this kicking net type thing. He really should just drop it. It's funny. It's over with. Move on. It's honestly not even that much. It's not that funny anymore. It was funny then. It's not funny anymore. If he does something else with the kicking net, I don't know what else there is to do. But I'm sure Odell has other ideas. I think they just need to move on with it. The joke's over. Focus on the game. Great. You had 8 catches, 222 yards. It kind of turned into like a Cam Newton, where when everything's going your way, you're celebrating, you're dancing, you're smiling, you're making fun of the other team. But as soon as it doesn't go your way, when you're not getting the ball and you're losing, let's throw a huge fit. Let's cry about it. Let's not, talk to the media. Let's just, be a bad sport. You can't be one or the other. You got to be the same the whole time. You're going to smile. You're going to be all crazy when everything's going your way. You better take it when things are going bad and not cry about it. So that's it. Again, I can agree with Eli Manning on this one, but at the same time, Odell's going to be Odell, and it's whatever. So last bit of news, Ben Roethlisberger, he's been officially ruled out for Sunday's game against the New England Patriots. Head coach Mike Tomlin announced Tuesday. The Steelers are cautiously optimistic that Roethlisberger, who had surgery on his torn meniscus and his left knee on Monday, can play week 9 against the Baltimore Ravens. Now, Pittsburgh does have a week 8 bye. We'll have to see. Landry Jones will get the start and has been practicing with the ones all week long. Speaking of the AFC, question of the week. Are the New England Patriots a guaranteed lock for the Super Bowl? Here's my question. Or that's the question, but here's what. Name an AFC team right now that can stop the Patriots from getting there. The Broncos. If it's in New England, forget about it. There's no way there's no way a Trevor Siemian-led team goes into Foxborough and gets a W in the playoffs. Not happening. Guarantee it. Not happening. The Steelers, well, they just lost Big Ben. They say they should get him back by week 9. Okay. Good luck with that. You should have him back by the postseason, but you never know. The Kansas City Chiefs? Nah. Texans? 27-0. That's my answer. The Bengals, they couldn't get it done this past week. The Bills, maybe, but I don't know if I'm going to be the first to circle the wagon with the Bills. The Patriots will play in Pittsburgh this week, and we'll have to face a Landry Jones Steelers. And it still will be a tough game, but we can't really judge this game like we could have if Big Ben was healthy and playing. Then we could have said, all right, the Steelers might be the only chance. Now, the following week, the Patriots will travel to Buffalo to take on the Bills, and Brady's going to look for revenge for his team after, the Patriots suffered their only loss to the Bills 16-0 a week before Brady was eligible to return. He's going to look for some revenge on that one. Now, again, this team was 3-1 on a Brady suspension. This isn't all about Brady, but he just makes them that much better. They won in Arizona. They shut out the Texans in a short week with an injured quarterback, or, switching quarterbacks with Jacoby Brissett. You wouldn't think they need a confidence boost, but having Brady back and given his performance the past couple weeks, they've got all the confidence in the world. And honestly, I would feel like them, if I'm in the locker room, that no one can touch us. They're unstoppable. Brady is the engine. He's the battery. He's got everything for that team. He is the face of the franchise, of course. And I don't think we'll truly know who can stop the Patriots until December 18th, when the Patriots travel to Denver to take on the Broncos on what could be an AFC Championship preview. The Broncos, they've got to hope that somehow they can get the home game in the playoffs. I do not see the Broncos going into Foxborough and getting a W. Now, if it's in Denver, they've got a really good chance to squeak out a W. But I don't see anybody really stopping the Patriots. If an all healthy and non-suspended Steelers team in the playoffs, maybe. And that's a maybe. We'll see. Do you think there's anybody? I don't believe so. I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl. I'm saying getting to the Super Bowl. Now, weak AFC right now, I think it's all the Patriots and they're all locked up. Tweet me at Short Sports Show. I don't see anybody stopping. Not one team. Packers running back Eddie Lacy is not expected to play against the Chicago Bears on Thursday, and he's seeking a second opinion on his injured left foot. With James Starks undergoing knee surgery, Lacy had been the Packers' only active running back against Dallas on Sunday when he rushed for 65 yards on 17 carries in of course, a 30-16 loss that we just talked about. Now with Lacy and Starks now expected to miss time, the Packers made a move Tuesday to address their running back corpse by acquiring Nile Davis in a trade with the Kansas City Chiefs. The Packers gave up a conditional pick for Davis, and the source said that the conditional pick is a 7th rounder in 2018. Now Starks is expected to be out a couple of weeks, and the same could be true for Eddie Lacy, with the source telling ESPN that, quote, I don't see Eddie Lacy playing anytime soon. To make move for Davis on the roster, Green Bay placed top cornerback Sam Shields, who has been out since the season opener with a concussion, on injured reserve. Last topic of the day, and that is a new quarterback for the New York Jets. Now, one day after giving a vote of confidence for quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick, New York Jets head coach Todd Bowles backtracked his commitment, hinting Tuesday he could turn to Geno Smith this weekend. Bowles also expanded the quarterback controversy to 4 players, saying it's, quote, definitely possible, end quote, that Bryce Petty and or Christian Hackenberg could play before the end of the season. Now, the coach backed Fitzpatrick after Monday night's 28-3 loss to the Arizona Cardinals, saying, quote, "Fitz will be back next week. Fitz is our starter," end quote. Now, Fitzpatrick leads the NFL with 11 interceptions and has led the offense to only 3 touchdowns during the current 4-game losing streak. Now, Bowles conceded that he revisited the matter after his post-game news conference. He pulled Fitzpatrick midway through the fourth quarter of the blowout, throwing in Smith, who had his only series ended up with the interception. Now, asked directly if Smith could start Sunday against the Baltimore Ravens, Bowles said, quote, "We have to talk more about that more. There's a possibility every week there will be changes made player-wise," end quote. Now, the Jets are 1-5 on the season, and since 1970, only 2 teams have rallied from a 1-5 record to make the postseason. I honestly don't think the Jets are going to be the 3rd team. It is prediction time, and before we move on to the NBA news, our top 3 questions for entering the 2016-17 NBA season, and also talking about the Dodgers' win over the Chicago Cubs, make our predictions. 5 best games of the week. 3-3 Giants taking on the 3-3 Rams. 8 a.m. Central Time on the NFL Network in London. Back in London again. It's kind of crazy. Giants are a 3-point favorite, and I am taking the Giants. 5-0 Vikings on the road to take on the Philadelphia Eagles. 12 p.m. Central Time on Fox. Minnesota is a 2.5-point favorite, and this honestly, it's going to be one of the best games of the week. The Vikings having a dominant defense, go on the road to Philadelphia to take on Carson Wentz in this offense. Now, Carson Wentz, he looked a little bit shaky last week. Didn't look comfortable against Washington and ended up losing the game. I'm taking the Vikings here just because of who the Vikings have shown this season. But I wouldn't be surprised Eagles get the victory here, and this would be a huge victory and a huge confidence booster for the entire Eagles roster if they can get a W and beat the Vikings. The 2-4 Chargers, my San Diego Chargers, go on the road to Atlanta. Not only was it already going to be a tough game entering this week, they are now going to play a very angry Atlanta Falcons, knowing that they potentially got robbed this past week. It's on Fox, 3:05 p.m. Central Time. Atlanta's a 6.5-point favorite, and I think the Falcons probably crushed the San Diego Chargers. Taking the Falcons here. 5-1 Patriots taking on the 4-2 injured Steelers on CBS. New England's a 7.5-point favorite, taking the Patriots here. And then on Monday night, we have the Houston Texans taking on the 4-2 Broncos. Monday Night Football. Denver is a 7.5-point favorite, and I think Denver crushes the Texans. It's going to be already rowdy because Brock Osweiler makes his return to Denver, and his recent struggles against a dominant defense on primetime does not mix for a good combination for the Texans. I'm taking the Denver Broncos here. Let's take a quick break in our show. Again, follow me on Twitter at Short Sports Show and become a fan on Facebook, The Short Sports Show. Let's show InnerGrind and also support the show on Patreon.
Today's show is sponsored by InnerGrind. Based out of Houston, Texas, let former Texas State linebacker Michael Rakpo help you reach your fitness and nutrition goals. With personal training classes that start at $40 a session, why not be a part of this rising program? Now, whether your goals are to lose weight, gain muscle mass, find the right off-season program, or even for you ladies out there to get that booty blast, you can do it all with InnerGrind. Not a Houston area, not a problem. InnerGrind has a program that is personalized just for you. InnerGrind has everything you need to meet your personal and healthy goals. NFL linebackers like Titans Brian Orakpo, Chiefs Derek Johnson, Buccaneers running back Charles Sims, and San Diego Chargers cornerback Craig Mager, along with many other young athletes, have already begun. Find your personalized workout and nutrition plan at InnerGrind.com and call 832-475-2829. That's InnerGrind.com, 832-475-2829. Unleash your inner grind.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt the show, but I want to say first off, thank you for all of your support. Without you, I'd just be some guy talking into a microphone. And I got some amazing news.
I recently joined Patreon. And in case you're wondering, Patreon is an amazing way for you to earn some sweet rewards by supporting the Short Sports Show. I promise you, you will love the perks, and your support will help build this show. Go to www.patreon.com/theshortsportshow and view the amazing rewards you would get directly from me to you by donating to the show. The link is in the description, so when you have some time, check it out. And again, thank you for listening and supporting the Short Sports Show. Now back to me rambling on about something.
Now we'll talk about the NBA top 3 questions entering the 2016-17 NBA season. A new season awakens. Every season develops its own rhythm, new storylines, questions, teams building foundations, teams looking to bounce back after upsetting playoff losses or being close to the playoffs. And it's just a new season brings so much to the NBA. And this one is no different. We got everything we always ever needed. First question. Can anyone slow down the Golden State Warriors? Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Kevin Durant, all together. It's real. It's there. Now Curry, one of the best shooting guards and two-time reigning MVP, is now with Thompson, who's probably the second best. Green, who keeps the Warriors playing downhill at all times. And now you have KD, 7-foot wing, who can see over anyone who tries to guard him. How does anybody stop? Well, the thing is, we should all know that the Warriors are not going to be unstoppable. Not going 82-0. Might not even beat the record that they had last season. Which is like, well, they just got an all-star. How did they not? Well, that's just how this NBA works. Now, one of the best NBA defensive coaches and assistants on a good staff was asked, and he said, quote, I don't have any answers. You just got to go and play. You've got to go back at them. It's not brain surgery. They're talented. They have a couple of great players, but we're just going to go out there and do what we do and try to do it harder and better than they do, end quote. Now, Golden State comes to the party with Curry, career 44.4% three-point shooter. Thompson, who hits at 42%, and Durant clocks in at 38%, plus 7 boards per game. By the way, just throw that out there. Green, he's raised his three-point shooting, 38.8% last season, and he just kind of gets the team flowing together. He's got that swag to him. He's got the energy to him. So, can you afford to play the Golden State Warriors just straight up? Maybe. Possibly. Probably your best chance. But if you believe in the double team, oh, well, who do you double? Someone's going to be open. Who's going to stop the Warriors? Can anyone slow down the Warriors? That is the top question of the season. Moving on. What about the Eastern Conference? The weak Eastern Conference. Oh, first off, I just want to lay this out there. I don't think we've talked about it. I am all in favor for a complete NBA realignment. Let's drop the East versus West stuff. Let's drop it completely. Let's go just like all the other leagues have it, like an NL, AL, National, American, whatever you want to call it. I don't care what the name is. We need to switch it up. Have your divisions just like the NFL does, where you have West through East all the way through in one conference. Let's mix it up, because the Eastern Conference for the past several years has been garbage. And it's basically whatever team LeBron James is on, that's the team that's going to make it. And all the other 15 other teams on that conference, you got no chance. So just play and have fun. That's it. Now, who in the Eastern Conference this season has the best chance of stopping the Cavaliers reaching their 3rd straight appearance in the NBA Finals? Now, the James-led Super Friends have made the Finals each of their 4 seasons together in Miami, but the Heat, they ran into the Indiana Pacers, but still got the dub. The Western Conference, on the other side, the past 20 years, has been a different team. It's been switched up. I mean, you've had the Spurs, but even with that, you've had the Lakers, you've had the Mavericks, you got the Warriors. You've always had multiple teams contending. And even some shocking teams sometimes. Teams like Grizzlies made it pretty far. You've always had someone out there. The West has always been tough. East on the other side has been the worst side of basketball. This is terrible. So, And again, the landscape for this year for the East is, well, yikes. It's bad. Now, Toronto re-signed DeMar DeRozan, and it's DeRozan, Kyle Lowry. Got a good combination there. They lost Bismack Biyombo, who was terrific for them in the playoffs to free agency. He's now in Orlando. Pacers, very young, exciting, promising team. You have Jeff Teague, Monte Ellis, Paul George, Miles Turner, Thaddeus Young, but they haven't played together yet. So we don't really know. This might take 30, 40 games for them to get it groove. Yeah, the Atlanta Hawks have won at least a round in the playoffs the past 2 years. They lost Al Horford to Boston. They replaced him with Dwight Howard. I think Howard still has a little bit left in the tank. Should be able to be okay. I don't think there's going to be a huge drop-off in that. Now, Boston, on the other side, they look like they got the best chance. The Celtics have all-star in Isaiah Thomas, Avery Bradley, Jay Crowder, Johnson, Marcus Smart, one of my favorite from Oklahoma State. And they have lottery pick in Jaylen Brown. At that, you have Horford, that we just talked about, four-time all-star. I can't talk right now. Who fits right in. Brad Stevens, young coach. Boston maybe has the best chance. You see Atlanta doing it. You see Toronto. I think Toronto is really my favorite, but then again, who knows? Pacers, hopefully. But do you really see anybody dethroning LeBron James and the Cavaliers again? I don't know. Probably not. And the last one is, how does Oklahoma City move on? Thunder's contending days are probably over for a while. Now, you have in Westbrook, who stays with the team, and it's all him. It's his team. He's got everything. You know, he brought a 1 year extra security with a 3-year, $86 million extension. I don't know the right words for this. So, you have Westbrook. He's always been the heartbeat, right? He's been the heartbeat for the Thunder, even when Durant was there. Durant was just the emotional guy. Westbrook has been the main guy for them. Getting the triple doubles. Always being clutch. When they're down and they get a run going, guess who starts it? In Westbrook. So there's a lot of talent in OKC. I mean, you got Victor Oladipo, who's been one of my favorite. I'm sad it didn't work out in Orlando, but you got him. You have Steven Adams, who really came on strong in the postseason. Good center for you. And Ernest Cantor had a huge offseason coming off the bench. He's only 24 years old. So there's still hope that 7th, 8th seed, you could still get in. Maybe in 6th seed, you shock some people. I don't think it's all over for the Thunder, but it definitely is going to make it a lot tougher for them to make the NBA Finals. And I don't see that happening. Not with the Clippers, not even with the Spurs still. Definitely not with the Warriors. What other questions do you have going into the NBA season? We're going to be talking a lot more about the NBA here pretty soon. Next week, season starts, right? 26. It's 19th. Next week today. Well, depending on when this video is uploaded. But this week, as of the show's recording, next week is when the NBA season starts. It's almost here. So what else? We got the MLB. Rich Hill for the Dodgers. Got the W. He's in the midst of a career rebirth. 36 years old. Probably his best game he's ever had. 6-0 victory gave the Dodgers a 2-1 lead in the series. Slight edge that's, hardly commanding, but, the momentum is building in Southern California. The Cubs were held without a run for the second consecutive NLCS game. I mean, it was a little shaky. What was it? The second inning? He had over 30 pitches, somewhere around there. Hill did. Walked 2 batters, had second and third situation, then a pass ball got through the catcher. Still was able to bounce back. Struck out Russell, and then I believe got a ground out. And after that, it was all cruising for him. After already a workhorse this postseason, ace pitcher Clayton Kershaw could continue to carry the heavy workload for the Dodgers into the National League Championship Series. And this is where it gets a little worrisome for the Dodgers. As before the Dodgers 6-0 Game 3 win on Tuesday about the potential for Kershaw to pitch on a short rest for Game 5. Manager Dave Roberts first said he wanted to just continue on, concentrate on the game that night. But he did admit that it's not out of the question that Kershaw could be asked to pitch in Game 5 on 3 days of rest under certain circumstances. And this is what it is. Now, should the Chicago Cubs win Game 4 at Dodger Stadium, leaving the series tied at 2, Roberts said Kershaw's appearance in Game 5 is less likely. But if the Dodgers win in Game 4 and are on the verge of clinching a World Series berth, he said that anything is possible with the rotation. That worries me. Worries me about throwing Kershaw back in there. While he gives us the best chance of winning, if we use him too much and then come World Series, if we make it, and get in that World Series, then what? Is he too? He's never been this far before. Does he become shaky? Does he not be able to get the job done? And then all that work was then for nothing. Because I'm not gonna buy a Dodgers World Series T-shirt if they lose. I never understand people that do that. Well, I would never buy, whether it's my team going on their first ever championship, whether it's NBA, NFL, before the game's been played, I'm not buying a shirt or any apparel or a poster or anything that says, hey, we made it, or here's the matchup, the Super Bowl shirt, the NBA Finals shirt, before that happens. Because you can never wear it if your team loses. You look like an idiot if you wear a shirt of a championship series, championship game, and your team loses. Now, sure, if you're asked on the spot, then you could just be like, oh, yeah, whoever won, you could just say you're a fan of that. But then that just still looks bad. So, that was completely random, but I thought I'd just throw that out there. That is it for today's show. I hope you guys enjoyed. It was a little bit longer than normal, but it's alright. We had a lot of news to talk about, a lot of things to talk about. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to hit that like button no matter where you're listening, whether it's iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spreaker.com, Stitcher, YouTube, SoundCloud. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to give us a review on iTunes. It means so much. It means so much for the show. And follow me on Twitter at Short Sports Show. Become a fan on Facebook, The Short Sports Show. And I will see you guys next week. Again, sleeves.com. This is the last week to do it. Short Sports promo code. 20% off. Free shipping on purchases of $50 or more. Thank you guys so much. As always, God first, God bless. And I'm out. Peace.